Hi, this is video journal number 5 for A Soldier's Fugue. And the first question, what did I notice? What I found interesting, strange, or meaningful? I thought the whole talk about the dynamic of military families and the physical and emotional pain of the injuries that come with it, like PTSD or just physical injuries, and how it affects the family. And number 2, what values are being represented. Elliot represents the becoming a man value very well as the whole culture, family, history, and from Puerto Rican standpoint. I think overall this is very telling that it's kind of almost like a coming of age and embracing your roots kind of morality. And for question 3, read with a pencil. One thing that I wasn't very familiar with that I kind of wanted to learn more about, which is, it's kind of random, but Grandpop was a veteran of the Korean War, and I kind of didn't really know what that entailed. I've heard of it, but didn't really dive into the history before. It was from 1950 to 1953 between North and South Korea. Nobody really won, and what's really unfortunate is 8,200 soldiers were MIA in the war, and out of those 8,200, 122 were Puerto Rican, which is really unfortunate, and especially for Elliot's family, it's very telling. Question number 4, the issue of diversity. I thought, going off of the last question, it's very telling that the Puerto Ricans were kind of serving the front lines. They were often, most of the people in Elliot's family were injured, and they didn't really want to talk about their experience or the history at all, Pop, Grandpop, and Ginny. And that leads to the question, were they less accounted for because they were Puerto Rican? Is that why they were often serving the front lines? And number 5, the title. I learned that fugue means a loss of identity and kind of a dissociative period of being, I guess. And I think that's really reflective on Elliot's journey to discover more about his heritage. His family wasn't really open about it, and they didn't really embrace their identity. They didn't embrace their culture. And I think that's where Fugue kind of plays in. I think it's a really strong title. And 2 of my own questions about the play. I personally, within my nuclear family, it's not a huge military family. And for those of you who are in military families, do you think this plays an accurate depiction of what that is like and how that can affect the family dynamic as a whole, and how can it affect mental, physical health? And do you think that Ginny wanted Elliot to enlist in the war when he did? Because he was kind of understanding, but fearful at the same time.